Soapbox, Sacramento. My name is Laura Rubalcaba, and I'm your host tonight. Tonight I have with me a local songwriter and musician, also editor of a local satirical newspaper. But before we get to that, let's talk about our sponsors. We're blessed to have two sponsors, Pieces Pizza in Midtown on 21st and Capitol, I believe it is. Serves delightful pizza. Please, if you go in there, let them know how much we appreciate their long-standing support. Our other long-term supporter is the newspaper Comic News Press, which is now known as Humor Times. And actually, we're going to be talking tonight with the editor and publisher of Humor Times, James Israel. Hi, James. Good
Hello.
evening.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. So tell us, how long have you been doing the Humor Times?
About 24 and a half years now. The anniversary is in April, so coming up on that quarter century mark.
Oh my God, your silver anniversary.
Yeah.
How nice.
Yeah.
Is it like a
Big
marriage?
bash. Kind of like being married to your work, I guess.
So tell me, what have you, where are you at now, and what do you see for your future? Tell us more about it.
Well, print is, should I show this thing? Print is on the way, I guess, out slowly but surely. But we're kind of looking into the digital realm more. We have a website, humortimes.com, that's been up for a long time, and it's always working on that, trying to improve it, make it better content and more interesting. There's cartoons, there's fake news up there, satirical news, humor columns. People can upload their own cartoons, funny videos. People can also upload videos. So just a lot going on there. That's a lot of fun. And then I'm also working on an app that would be like the news of the day kind of thing in cartoons. And, you slide from each cartoon to the other. So, yeah.
There's a lot of comics in your paper.
Definitely,
which has been around Sacramento for a long time, but now is mostly by subscription.
Yeah, mostly by subscription. We do have some free copies we put out, but it's not like used to be. The 30,000, I think, was our peak distribution, free distribution, and then when the economy hit the skids, and people sometimes forget that started happening even before the crash of 2008. But a lot of local businesses, which have always been our supporters, had to pull back in their ad budget. So you can't be a free paper without a lot of advertising. And at one point, we just decided to go subscription.
So was that also the time you went more online?
Yeah, about the same time. We had a website a long time before that, but that's definitely when we started looking at
really building
improving
out.
it. Yeah, and
so this must be a really exciting time to be in satirical news.
Oh yeah, well, it doesn't seem like
What's
there's
your
ever
favorite?
a bad time, but yeah, but I mean, when you have people like Donald Trump running for president, the satire kind of writes itself. I mean, these cartoonists do a great job of just, a lot of times it's juxtaposing one issue with another, or just using the material that these candidates like to just hand them, on a silver platter and running with it. And it's very funny.
You got Carson, who looks like a pathological liar now. And then you can talk about all the people who are making fun of the people who are running. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's a gift that just keeps giving.
Yeah. Well, Trump, he kind of makes stuff up with a lot of flair, and then you got Carson that does it, while he's kind of hypnotizing you. But they're both kind of kind of making stuff up. It seems like.
Yeah, the presidential race over on the Republican side is full of. What about Bernie? Do you see a lot of stuff you can work with there in the comic news?
Well, yeah, he's kind of naturally easy to make fun of too. Just 'cause he's like the grumpy old man kind of figure, So the cartoonists and the writers are having fun with that. So there's definitely a lot to make fun of on both sides, left and right. There's always a lot of fodder for political satire.
What's the toughest thing about what you do?
Well, what I do is probably would be deciding on what content gets in. We have so much to choose from. Every month there's hundreds of cartoons to go through, and only maybe, I guess it's about 100 that make it in, but we have hundreds to choose from. And same with the written material. So that's probably the hardest thing. And then deadlines, working right up to the deadline, trying to get that publication into the printer on time. That's always a challenge.
But then on the website, you're maybe able to put up, more stuff. You don't have to make so many decisions.
Yeah, you can put everything up on there, really.
But if you went to this app where you delivered a daily dose of funny,
right,
then you'd once again be
right.
Picking the creme of the creme for us, right?
That's it, exactly.
And what do you look for?
Something that, tells the story, but in either, it doesn't have to be funny, but funny is great. But also, some of them are just poignant. They just really capture an issue in a great way.
Why don't you tell us about one of your favorite ones from one of your recent?
Well, there's the cover of a different issue that showed Trump as King Kong up on top of the Empire State Building, and he's fending off all these airplanes, which were basically, the candidates from his same party that were trying to shoot him down in the debates.
Well, it sounded like it could have been, commentators from the last debate.
Oh, yeah, well.
He's taking pot shots at everybody. So he's up there as this King Kong character.
Right, swatting down these airplanes that are trying to shoot him down. So that was a nice way to frame the issue. And there's just so many great cartoons. People will just have to subscribe and check them out.
Well, it's pretty tough now because we lost Jon Stewart, who was doing that great satirical, and I'm sure you watched a lot of him. So.
Definitely, yeah. There's a lot of great political satire now on, and it kind of started with The Daily Show. I think they were the first ones to really present it well on TV. And that's kind of fake news too, as John said, but at the same time bringing up the real issues and showing the kind of the absurdity of a lot of things, a lot of issues that are not. His show also made fun of, and still does with Noah Trevor, I guess is his name. They make fun of the media itself, which is really great, and a lot of our cartoons do too, because even the media itself deserves a lot of lampooning because of how they miss the real issue so often and go for the thing that's going to bring in the ratings, I guess, or what they think it will.
Clickbait, huh?
Yeah, clickbait, or exactly, surf bait.
There's definitely a lot to mock, not just in candidates, but also in the coverage of the candidates, the questions that are asked, and then you have the Republican debate where they sit there. They think their questions are so tough when it's about how idiotic things that they've said. So it's tough when you say idiotic things and people call you on it. Yes, I appreciate it. That's tough. And then they say, oh, the Democrats have it so easy, I guess because they don't have personal attacks. But at the Democratic debate, you have questions that regard, really are tough questions about the platform of the candidates. So it's funny to me to see the Republicans talk about how tough they have it and how, the Democrats have an easy way of it because they're not being attacked on stupid stuff they said.
Well, I thought Anderson Cooper was pretty tough on him. I mean, he came right out and, said, Bernie, how can you win when you're a socialist? There's like no way a socialist is going to win. Come on, and then he got on Hillary for emails and. And I think that's the job of a commentator, to a degree at least, is to bring up those tough questions. And, the Republicans should be able to handle that too. If they can't, they shouldn't be running for president. So I thought that was pretty funny that they were complaining about that. But that said, I would appreciate more of a change in format too, where candidates get to talk more at length about their views on issues instead of this, 30-second thing that ends up being a back and forth, and you don't really learn much about what they really think and what they would really govern, how they would really govern. So I could see that from that point of view that the debate formats could be improved for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the debates are really focused on giving the viewers information. They're focused
Right.
on driving viewership and I
Right.
guess selling advertisements.
Yeah.
And it's a real disservice to the people, and that our election process is so debased
Right.
to be turned into a spectator sport and
Right.
disenfranchised. Our own political discussion is disenfranchised by this kind of got you stuff and promoting the next big story and
Yeah.
some silly thing that's done and then is, what do they call it on Twitter? Goes viral on
Sure.
Twitter, and it's some
Right.
stupid thing, and it doesn't have anything to do with what are you going to do about raising the minimum wage? What are you going to do about climate change? What are you
And
going to
the-
do about changing our economy?
And the discussion in between debates always centers on, who had the best attack line or, who had the best takedown
Or the gaffe.
or the gaffe.
The gaffe. I'm not interested in gaffes. I'm interested in issues.
Right.
And it's something that I've really seen on Facebook now. I think because the ridiculousness of the candidates makes it really, really hard to tell if you're looking at a real news site or a fake news site. And I have seen a couple of stories that I'm just about to share on my Facebook page, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me check this out. Because
Yeah.
and in fact, we had Jeannie Keltner on her last show, talked about the Pope endorsing Bernie Sanders, and that was a satirical
Fake
news
news.
site that she had gotten that from, and she hadn't had the time to check it out. And so it's really difficult.
Right. Even some of the networks have run with those stories and not checked them out.
And then you see stories that are actually true, like when you get to Ben Carson and he's saying, no, he actually did try to kill somebody, doggone it. And you're like, is that a satirical story? No, that's the real story.
And he's afraid he's going to lose street cred or something, if the story doesn't check out. Yes, I'm a killer, honest.
Well, it's a big part of who he says he is, this whole
Yeah.
redemption story, and there's not anybody to really back it up, and his story shifts a little bit. And I think he's been caught in some lies, more on more recent things.
And even if it's not the lies, it's the ridiculous statements, all these candidates that don't seem to believe scientific fact, this is who we're going to have running the country.
So how are we even to evaluate candidates that are so ridiculous? What's a
Good
voter
question.
to do?
Well, find one who's not ridiculous, like Bernie Sanders, maybe.
We will have, we just talked to Bernie Sanders last week, so it is really exciting what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And economics, I think, is his real strong point. Well, I saw a nice meme that was like, people are so, especially the older generations, are so afraid of the word socialist. I don't think the younger generation is that, has that much stigma around the word, but a lot of people still do, obviously. But there was this good meme that said, democratic socialism just means that you get something for your taxes. You get something back for the people.
That's always something that
hard.
made sense to me, and I can't
Yeah.
imagine why somebody would not want to get something back.
Right.
But what we have right now, it's pretty interesting. I met this Uber driver. Don't know why the guy's driving Uber, but apparently he was big into real estate, and he was offered by an investment bank to buy a block of 20 homes in 2010. So, for $400,000, they was getting like $20,000 each, 20 homes. And of course he bought that, and I talked to him about it, and I said, it's really wrong when we have this economic system where labor can't even get a living wage, and capital has those kind of opportunities, because we're looking at not just an inequality in income, but also an inequality in assets, but finally, and most importantly, there's a huge inequality in opportunity. You and I couldn't go and buy houses at those rates. Only this guy, who was going to buy 20 of them, and he had the $400,000 to put down cash and had the connections to even have that lined up. And all that just because he has capital, just because his stuff is green. And I don't think that green should be privileged over labor. So I'm down with the democratic socialist message for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, after the recession, there was huge buy-ups of properties by these big companies that just turn around and rent them, and so they become.
I think those were bank companies, weren't they? Investment banks?
Yeah, probably,
Investment.
yeah.
And I think
so
they
got into
packaged them into some of
the
the
home rental business, and from some of the things I've read, they're just terrible landlords. They don't fix anything. But besides that, just like you said, here all these companies are because of it's disaster capitalism. Because of the recession, they buy up all these houses. We got all these homeless people, but they can't get a house. But these guys can buy up hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them and rent them at ridiculous rates.
And they can do that because they have cash.
Right. Exactly.
So I think always in capitalism, it is a word capital, which is
Right.
the word money.
Right.
It seems to be a system that really revolves around money, and it's become a real problem because our
Right.
workers are not taken care of in a system like that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about funny again.
Oh yes, funny. Well, yeah. I guess our job as political satirists and media that's involved in that is to take all that bad news and somehow make it funny. And there is a funny side to all that. And usually it does have to do with pointing out just how absurd something is. But if a cartoonist, for example, can show that in a funny way, it makes a point. The reason I even got into the publishing Humor Times way back when it was still a Comic Press News is because it can take down people's guards. That's what I like about it. The humor can take down people's guards, and you can have you can get ideas across without someone being too defensive. If they can laugh at it, then maybe they can see the point that's being made, and you can get somewhere with a discussion.
But I think there's a flip side to that too. Making fun of the other side, it kind of pushes us apart. I saw a pretty funny little meme, and it showed Trump, at one podium doing his Trump thing, and then over here was Carson, and he was kind of speaking more softly, and it said over Trump, it said, idiots saying idiotic things loudly,
Right.
and over Carson it said saying idiotic things softly. And there was this crowd of people that were watching Trump, but then there were a couple of people at the edges that were moving over to Carson, and it really was a real commentary on how it seems like the watchers of Trump have gotten a little bored with him and are moving over to Carson just because he's the same flavor but a little different because he's quiet.
Yeah.
But there's no, when there's no substance that we can see, it's hard to understand what they're doing. But when we mock and make fun, then it can really get in the way.
Well, that's
of
why I
building
think it's
bridges.
important to laugh at yourself too and make fun of yourself too, and then, and so we try to make fun of both Democrats and Republicans for that reason. But
And that may be a good way to approach your, Republican uncle or something is through some joke that he'll appreciate.
Right.
But I don't know, those conversations are really hard to have.
Yeah.
Maybe humor is the only way to have them.
That could be. That could be.
So tell me a little bit about what you got on the site that you don't have in the paper.
Videos. Can't put videos in print. There's a lot of we kind of the goal is to present the best of, because there's so much video stuff online. But what we're trying to do is present. There's one section for just political humor videos, and then one for just funny videos in general. But the funny videos, they're not the cute cat videos or the cute kid videos or stupid stunt type of stuff. We don't have that. But what we do try to concentrate on is well written, funny short videos. So there's a lot of
Are they all
people doing
political?
that kind of thing. No, there's politicals. We have a political section and then a non-political. So, but going for quality, we want to kind of take the best of the
A
web
little more
and present
intellectual
it to
than
people.
your
Yeah.
cat video.
Right, exactly. So if you're looking for the cat videos, you're going to have to look elsewhere.
Don't have those. You have to get the cat video section maybe sometime.
And then other things we have that aren't in the publication would be, the ability for people to submit cartoons and videos.
Oh, so people can submit up there.
Yes.
And then you have renewing content.
Right, constantly.
You don't have to wait for the next
Exactly.
publication.
Right. So instead of once a month, it's every day. It's getting updated. And humor columns have more authors just because we have more space online.
Do you ever get much in the way of local stuff?
Not a lot. We welcome that, but just not a lot that gets submitted.
Do you see much state humor come across your desk?
Not a whole lot, but some. About Governor Brown, the fracking in California, the drought.
Vaxxers?
The drought's been big, for sure. So we've had quite a few cartoons on that. What else?
The vaxxers, vaccination.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, I think, on that. Yeah.
I think that would have been right.
Definitely, I like to get local stuff, especially in the publication, if it's there to be had. So we're always looking for that. But online is so immediate, it's definitely got that going for it. We have a Facebook page too, so I hope viewers will go to our Humor Times Facebook page and like it. Twitter account, all that kind of stuff. Got to stay with the times,
The Humor Times.
That's it.
So you also do singer-songwriting. I
do. I am a singer-songwriter. Been doing that since before I got into the publishing business. So that's, if I could make my living at that, I think that would be my choice. That's where my real passion is, music. So yeah, I do that. I play around town here and there. Fox and Goose or Naked Lounge or different places.
I've heard some of your music. It's got there's some protest.
Yeah, I have some activist kind of music too. Yeah, and sometimes I'll play at different events that happen, and that's always a lot of fun. I tend to kind of separate out the more political stuff and not play it at the bars, because people aren't looking for that. But whenever anyone's in a good situation to listen to that, I like to pull that out for sure. That's, kind of where it crosses over with the Humor Times, I guess.
Well, I do appreciate all the time that you have, all these years that you've sponsored this show, Soapbox. You've been loyal to us, and we really appreciate it. Is this your first time actually being on the show?
No, I was on Jeannie's show a few times. Ray Tatter had me on his show once.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you back on.
Well, thank you.
And I know we're winding up. There's going to be some more shows coming. We got Joy Halstead is going to do a show coming up. She's very interested in doing a show on the TPP, so she's still trying to put that together. And also Lola Ellis is going to look at doing a show perhaps on the Nestle Water Wars or something else that's very local. So those are some upcoming shows that we expect to be bringing in November. And we do hope people will join us. I think we have how much longer do we have left? So we got another 3 minutes. So bring it back, see if you got anything you want to add. Got a
Should
couple
have brought
minutes.
my guitar. I could play a song.
I know, that would have been good. That would have been good.
Well, let's see, what else? Look for the app. Going to be pulling that out pretty soon. Write in if you have suggestions, anything you'd like to see the Humor Times tackle that we aren't, or any suggestions on how to improve the magazine.
If we see a funny meme on Facebook, can we share it over
share
on your Facebook page?
Share that on the Humor Times. Yeah, on the
okay.
Humor Times Facebook page, please do. Yeah. We have a lot of people interacting on that site, so that's nice. Humor Times.
So there's the.
This is a monthly, by the way, and will get delivered right to your home.
You can give gift subscriptions. How much is it
Gift
a year?
subscriptions, great time of year for that, to bring that up, yes, indeed. 20, can I say the price?
I Hope so.
I don't know, is that allowed? $24.95 a year. And
And you
it's
can give
a
it
lot
to
of fun.
Republicans as well as
Oh
Democrats.
yeah. In
We've
fact,
tried to be
yeah, they usually appreciate it.
multi-partisan.
Because we do have the jokes about the Democrats in there too, so everyone can enjoy it. Great gift for teenagers and college students. They love it.
And crazy uncles.
Crazy uncles, crazy aunts, yourself. Yeah. So yeah, check out the website. You can always leave comments there too. So that's another way to interact with the Humor Times.
And that's great. Looks like we're just about ready to wrap up. So I'd like to thank everybody for checking in tonight with Sacramento Soapbox. I invite you to come back at 8 p.m. on Monday nights, Local Access Channel 17, or online at accesssacramento.com or org. Sorry. Thank you very much, and good night, Sacramento. This is Laura Rubalcaba. Thank you.